It's the Coach's Corner on Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP, 99.3 FM, and streaming live on WBVP and WNBA Facebook and on our Beaver County Radio YouTube channel. We want to thank the fine folks here at the Larry Bruno Foundation. It's a special 2-hour broadcast, and we are going to have the Beaver Falls Tigers here with us, and we're from the Edward Sondheimer Communications Center at the Larry Bruno Foundation Circle of Achievement in Beaver Falls. Tonight, the first hour, we're going to have Nick Nardone, the head coach of the Beaver Falls Fighting Tigers. We're going to have some of his players as well. Just so everybody knows, I'm here. My name is Mike Gazzadi, and I'm with John Parada. And John, quickly, the win Friday night over Elwood City was the 700th in school history for Beaver Falls. That's one heck of an impressive history.
It is, and you know, you talk about the impressive history of Beaver Falls, and I think we all know the background of the Beaver Falls football program and sports in general in this town. But when you come in here to the Larry Bruno Foundation Center here, and you look at the walls and you look at all the memorabilia, and it's really amazing. It really brings into focus the great tradition of sports and athletics in this town. And it really, for a town that's not very big, it has an amazing legacy of great athletes.
Before we get to that, we're going to talk a little bit about that stuff before we talk to the head coach. We want to thank you. Thanks tonight. Beverages provided by New Brighton Foodland, and the beverages in New Brighton. Wings provided by Zucchi Sports Tavern in Falston. Also the cheese plate provided by Giles Town and Country Beaver Falls. And we want to thank them. We're going to have some special guests on in the second hour. A lot of dignitaries. Carl Flory is here. Rick Mancini's due to come. Linwood Alford is due to come. There are so many people. But you mentioned not just Beaver County. This is about not just Beaver Falls. This is about, you know, obviously there's a display for Candy Young from Beaver Falls, Joe Namath from Beaver Falls. But there's also a rich history of baseball, a rich history of the Beaver County Legion. There's a gymnastics display. And they're going to keep adding things. And this is not just going to be for people from Beaver Falls. They want this to be an all Beaver County thing. It's not open yet, but it will be sometime next year. But boy, I've been in here for an hour, and I'm just impressed. I'm in the Hall of Fame. It's tremendous.
It's outstanding. It is. It's like it's a Beaver Falls Hall of Fame. But like you said, I like the idea not only they're going to have Beaver Falls, but all of Beaver County. And one of the neat things that you have here, and you don't usually see in a Hall of Fame of this kind, is they have pictures of memorabilia for athletes that played against Beaver Falls teams too here, and I think that's really neat. I mean, and the amount, it's amazing the amount of memorabilia and old uniforms, equipment that they have. I mean, it's great that people kept a lot, because a lot of times a lot of that stuff got thrown away, and it's a great thing to have that much stuff here.
They've had numerous donations, and Steve Higgins, the curator, we talked a lot with him. There's a lot, obviously, the Hall of Famer and Joe Namath, but they're going to start working on getting the other Hall of Famers from Beaver County, your Ty Laws, your Darrell Weavis. They're going to work on that. They're working on stuff with Terry Francona, who will be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. There's a big Geneva display. Your heart's with Geneva.
Absolutely.
They say the birthplace of college basketball. There's a nice display out there of that. So there's so many nice things here. And what they're going to do is they're going to open this up to the public. The youth, they have youth organizations that can use this room and have their meetings and do things, and that's going to be free admission to the public once it opens. Now, they will ask for donations, because there are people that have donated money. They're getting some grants. They're getting some new signs. So that's what they'll ask for. So anybody can come in here and bring their family in and not feel like they have to spend a lot of money just to see the rich history of Beaver County.
And I tell you what, I would highly recommend it, and I've just been able to tour through everything once rather quickly, but it's an amazing amount of memorabilia, amount of plaques, amount of history in this center. And I mean, if you at all have any thoughts about Beaver Falls athletics, you don't have to be the biggest fan in the world. If you have any interest at all, it's a fantastic place to come and learn the history and, you know, for those who are big sports fans, to relive the history of Beaver Falls athletics.
A lot of people are coming here. Robert Mangino is here. Bruce Fry are here. They're going to come in. They're going to help me with talking to the coach and players. Other dignitaries and people are coming as well. We have quite a show planned here. It's a 2-hour special edition of the Coach's Corner. And just to let folks know, we've done them in different places throughout the county. Capico's Pizza in New Brighton, the Grand Valley Inn, Vesuvio's, and so many other places. We've got a couple more planned as well, and we've got other teams planned as well. Right now, we've got confirmed Western Beaver.
There you go.
Next
I
week,
went to school there.
and
A
the week
long
after
time.
that will be Beaver, and then after that not positive yet exactly where we're going to have it, but we're going to have Southside, we're going to have Aliquippa, we're going to try to get them on during the playoffs, and maybe a repeat of some teams, and we may have a special show with just some coaches and me and you, and we'll talk about the playoffs. That kind of stuff's coming up. But tonight's a special night here at the Larry Bruno Foundation. And before we take a quick break, let folks know that tonight's special 2-hour broadcast is coming here live from the Edward Sondheimer Communication Center at the Larry Bruno Foundation Circle of Achievement in Beaver Falls. And we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with Nick Nardone of the Beaver Falls Fighting Tigers, and you are listening live here on 1230 WBVP 99.3 FM Beaver County Radio.
If you're a parent that's already watched plenty of youth baseball or soccer games, you know the value of teamwork. Whether it's the team on the field or your team of family members at home, strengthening that group can pay off in many ways. Keystone Wellness Programs is offering their free Strengthening Families program in Beaver County for families of children ages 10 to 14. Learn how to increase family bonding and communications, all while having fun together. Visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org for details.
For Home Serve at Home Kids. Their staff provides company, conversation, and companionship to all patients, ensuring medications are taken on time, participating in fun community activities, personal care, meal prep, and light household work are all services provided by Patriot Home Care, all thanks to the hardworking and selfless team members. Call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or stop in Patriot Home Care, 1225 7th Avenue, Beaver Falls.
The award-winning Grand Valley Inn on Route 51 in Falston provides a delicious family dining experience. Grand Valley Inn is a great place for a party or event. They have banquet rooms for small and large gatherings. Fish and Friday night football go great together in Beaver County. The Grand Valley Inn has great fish and seafood specials on Fridays, live music on the weekends through October, and trivia night on Thursdays. Follow Grand Valley Inn on Facebook to keep up with all the fun. That's Grand Valley Inn on Route 51 in Falston.
Choose your path at Community College of Beaver County and start learning for real life at a realistic cost. CCBC's 2-year degree programs get you trained and earning a salary in less time and with less debt. Programs in aviation, nursing, education, process technology, criminal justice, and more will prepare you for a real future. You belong here. Apply now or learn more at ccbc.edu.
It's football season, and if you can see the Aquaman of Beaver County heading deep on a fly route to the end zone, it shouldn't surprise you. This is Jim Riggio, the Aquaman of Beaver County from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Why, you ask? It's obvious. Going deep or the full distance for our customers, no matter what we are up against, is in our game plan. Now, what isn't quite so simple is getting my web feet into a pair of those cleats. This is the Aquaman from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. And looky here, I'm wide open that is, to doing whatever it takes to serve you. Click bfwater.net.
The pregame show will set the stage for the upcoming game coverage. A pre-career start at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center can set up your high school student for life. I'm Vince Crateri, Public Relations and Marketing Specialist at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center with great news. There is still time for this school year in some of our top earning career training programs, but you must act now. Have your child or grandchild see their school counselor today. Hurry, classroom space is limited, and these prime opportunities are on a first come, first served basis. Let the Beaver County CTC open doors for you in the game of life. Click bcctc.org.
After any big game, people will be talking. This is Ellen Barras from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. The same is true when you get your new vehicle from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. Neighbors, friends, and co-workers will notice the new winning style reflected in the car, truck, or SUV you just got from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. Located on University Boulevard across from Robert Morris. Click and save at moonford.com and discover what the talk is all about. Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
We're back. The dignitaries just keep coming in, and we're here at the Larry Bruno Foundation special 2-hour broadcast from the Edward Sondheimer Communications Center at the Larry Bruno Foundation Circle of Achievement. I'm now joined by Bruce Fry and our special guest, Nick Nardone, head coach of the Beaver Falls Fighting Tigers. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And we've talked a couple of times on the sidelines, and big win the other night over Elwood City, a game that was tied and, was going back and forth. They hit you, you hit them, and then you guys took control in the second half, 700th win in the school's history. Talk to me about how proud you are to be the head coach of a team that has been around that long and an achievement like that.
Yeah, I mean, just lucky, blessed to have an opportunity like that to coach a football team with a tradition that Beaver Falls has. Like you said, not a lot of people get that opportunity, so just thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah, Coach, I think it's maybe Jeanette Aliquippa. There's not too many out there with 700, so you're an elite company. But in your game the other day, and some of these young men here are certainly responsible, I think you are more than committed to running the football.
Yeah, I mean, that was our game plan going into the game against Elwood. We wanted to control the ball, keep it out of their offense's hands. They've done some nice things over there offensively, and we wanted to make sure we had the ball in our hands and controlled the game, controlled the clock. So very proud of the way the kids executed the game plan. I mean, up front, our line really handled their business. And, Bricks did a tremendous job. Denari running the ball. Everybody contributed. It was impressive to watch.
As Bruce said, running the ball is big. A few years back, it was a running team. Then you became more of a wide-open passing team with the quarterback. You use the talent that's coming up. You always seem to have some good talent at running back. Now you've got some good talent on the line as well and on defense. But also you have depth because there's been some injuries. Talk to us about how important it is at the level of football you play to have even the younger kids stepping up, because there's always going to be an injury or two.
No, yeah, I mean, this has been one of those seasons where we've been kind of bitten by the injury bug several times in different occasions. So it's given a lot of other guys opportunities, and it's really developed some depth for us. So we're kind of excited where we are. I know the record doesn't show, but we've had opportunities to get a lot of guys on the field, and I think it's going to bode in our favor once we get to the playoffs, having the kind of depth that we have.
Yeah, no doubt. And you have had some tough losses. To me, it's ironic that both Western Beaver and Beaver Falls lost in Neshannock by the same score, 27-26. One in overtime, one not. So that's an indication of how close the MAC really is.
Yeah, and we've learned a lot of lessons from those games, players, coaches, all of us. I mean, there's a lot of things, little details that go on in games that you can't take for granted, and I feel like as a staff and as a team, we kind of let some things hurt us in those games, and it's a blessing we still got the opportunity to make the playoffs because we learned from those mistakes. Hopefully we fix them all and don't let them happen again in the playoffs.
Speaking of that, in a couple of weeks to go before the playoffs, and Beaver Falls is a perennial playoff team. You've had seasons where you go in as one of the top-ranked teams, and then teams challenge you. Then this year maybe some teams may overlook you because they look at the record, which I think as a coach you might prefer that, because when you go in with a target on your back, then every game you got to step up all the time, where if you go in without that target and you're the killer, it's going to make it a little bit easier. Talk to us about that as a coach. In a tough conference, losing some tough games, or would you rather be in a conference where you're winning all your games easily and then you're in the playoffs, you're not really even prepared?
No, yeah, I mean, you definitely want to be challenged to make sure you're prepared for the physicality and the type of games the playoffs will bring. which is why we were always taking pride in having a good schedule, especially at the beginning of the year. Win or lose some of those games, you obviously want to win them all, but you want to make sure your team is tested and ready for the playoffs. So we feel like we've seen pretty much everything in the way some of these games have unfolded. So we prefer it to be like it is. I mean, you definitely want to win every game, but we're happy that we learn from our mistakes. And like I said, I think our team's in a really good place to go into the playoffs on a high note.
We're all aware of the old adage of playing one game at a time and all of that. But now that you realize that you're pretty much playoff bound in today's world with Huddle and all these scouting services, do you get out on the road? Do you start looking at the Amani Christians and the other people of the 2A world? Do you do any of that now, or do you just save that all for after the regular season?
No, yeah, like I said, I mean, with the way this season's went, we've kind of put ourselves in a situation where we got to win every game, regular season, playoffs. So we don't have the luxury to look ahead to anybody. We're worried about freedom this week. We got to get this win to secure our spot in the playoffs, and then once we hopefully handle our business Friday night, it's on to the next team. One at a time is how we got to be.
Coach, talk to us about this conference. It's not easy. There's yourself. Elwood City now has become a player all of a sudden. Western Beaver has become better than they were. And the Shannock and Mohawk, both undefeated. And between the five of you, you're not separated that far in points given up or points scored. So really, when you throw you feel like you guys can compete against each other for a play here or a play there. Those standings could be a little bit different, but that's five really good teams in this conference.
Yeah, it's a very deep conference, a very competitive conference. I mean, watching those films on Saturday mornings have been tough because, like you said, you watch it, you show the kids it's a one play here, one play there. If we make one less mistake or make one more play, we win those games. And I know our team is capable of doing it. I've seen what these kids can do. They're a special group. And now that we've kind of, again, learned from the mistakes we've made, we hope we're putting ourselves in a good place to hopefully be able to compete and play with anybody.
Yeah, I personally think you will compete because, as the old adage goes, if you can run the football in November, you're in pretty good shape. And I think you will. My man, Mr. Sims over here, wearing jersey 60, he's the master of running side to side and then smashing a hole at the point of attack. So I think as long as you guys can pull that off. And the other thing is, we all know that the more you run the ball, the less anybody on the other team can do. You racked up some substantial time of possession the other day.
Yep, that's always our game plan, is to control the ball. When our offense is on the field, good things happen. And obviously we have a lot of faith in our defense, but we obviously are one of those teams that want to control the ball, control the game by moving the ball monotonously down the field, running the ball effectively, and forcing teams to play defense against us.
Coach, let's talk players. First thing, we're going to talk to some of your players. We've got Damian Lee, Denari Harris, Damiano Sims, and Bricks Raw. Hopefully I got them all right, guys. We're going to get them in a little bit, but it's more than just those four guys. You can't bring everybody. But I was going to preface this by saying players now, but also there are players who have graduated that I see on the sidelines that come back. And they're in college, and they want to come back and watch. To me, that says a lot. I've seen that at Aliquippa and a few other schools. It means a lot when kids you've coached or kids from the program want to come back and either see their buddies or see their school, and they're always a Tiger.
Yeah, I mean, we've tried to preach that family, that brotherhood that it takes to be a successful football team. And like you said, over the years, I mean, even years before, last year, the year before, we've always had kids come back and want to be involved. We have a couple former players that are coaching right now at our junior high level and a couple at the varsity level. We want that kind of sense of bond, sense of community, sense of family, because that's what it takes to win. When you got a group of guys fighting together and working together, they build those bonds, and it helps you be successful.
Now, let's talk about you as a coach. You took over a successful program, a team that recently had won a title, and you come in and was there anything that you put your flavor onto, anything you did differently to make it more your team, or did you just kind of continue the traditions that were already there?
Yeah, I mean, it's when you have such a tradition-rich program, it's in my opinion, you come in, and if things are going well, you just keep doing what you're doing. And if things need fixed, then you fix things. So obviously we've added our little spice and our little flavor here and there. But learning from Ryan, the years that I had the opportunity to coach with him, there was a lot of things that I thought he did that helped make this team successful. So you just try to emulate those things and just keep that tradition going.
I've been on the sidelines for a couple of your games, and you're serious. You don't fool around. When things go wrong, you're not afraid to tell players, hey, listen, pick it up. When things are going right, you're congratulating kids. You're patting them on the back. You're both tough, but you're fair. I see before the games, at halftime, you're pacing, and I know you take this very serious. And a lot of people will say, hey, it's just high school football. But at the same time, you have to take it serious, and you take it a little bit more serious than others do. You're very intense on the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a passionate guy. It's the way I was raised. It's kind of just in my genes. So,
right.
But I believe this game it requires a certain sense of that passion and that emotion. It's not for the faint of heart, for sure. So I coached the game the way I played the game, and I coached the game the way I was coached. And I feel like I had a lot of success in my life because of the people that coached me and showed me the way and taught me how this game needs to be played. So I just try to portray that and show that to the guys on the team that, like I said, it's a game that requires passion. It's a game that requires emotion. And when you play that way, you're usually successful.
Coach, you brought some special guests with you here tonight, and you preached family. You've got a couple of your family members here tonight. Why don't you tell us who you brought?
Yeah, I got my daughter, Allie, and my son,
Allie.
Mason. They're two big Tiger super fans.
Okay.
So always watching the game, always cheering for the Tigers.
How long before they're ball boy and ball girl on the sideline?
I don't know if I have the patience for that.
There you go. Well, it's our second segment is now ending here on the Coach's Corner. I want to also thank all the fine people who donated food here tonight. Thank you to I got to get my paper here. Zookies that provided the wings, cheese plate by Giles Town and Country, beverages by New Brighton Foodland, and of course pizza as well. And we're here at the Larry Bruno Foundation, Mike Azadian, Bruce Fry. We've got John Parada coming back. We've got other special guests. But next, after this break, we're going to bring some of the Beaver Falls Tigers players along and talk to some of these young men and let you know we're going to take a quick commercial here. Coach's Corner on Beaver County, 1230 WBVP 99.3 FM, streaming live on BVP and WNBA Facebook and a YouTube channel. Yep, you can watch us as well. We'll be back after these messages.
Hey, Beaver County high school football season is here. Players protect that beautiful smile with a visit to your hometown dentist, Dr. Peter Montini and his team at St. Barnabas Dental. While tackling tooth decay is number one in the game plan, Dr. Montini offers a wide array of services, including custom-fitted athletic mouth guards, clear aligner orthodontics, virtually painless injections, and same-day crowns. Call or text 724-495-3350 to schedule your appointment today. St. Barnabas Dental in Beaver, creating beautiful smiles for life.
At Pittsburgh Bay's Goldberg, Persky & White, we've helped thousands of former Babcock & Wilcox and J&L Steel employees receive compensation for their asbestos-caused lung cancer or mesothelioma. Since the time from asbestos exposure to disease diagnosis spans decades, many do not realize their illness was caused by asbestos. To find out if you are entitled to compensation, call GPW today at 1-800-COMPLEX or visit online at gpwlaw.com.
The Standard Bar and Grill on the river in Bridgewater is the place to enjoy summer. A great atmosphere. Delicious food, drinks. The Standard in Bridgewater is boater friendly and has their own dock. DJs and live bands on Fridays and Saturday nights, an outside bar, an area to dance, and a beautiful view from their patio are just a few of the amenities at the Standard. That's the Standard Bar and Grill in Bridgewater.
Being part of a credit union is like being part of a team where everyone plays and, more importantly, everyone wins. This is Cindy Hiladio for Friendly Federal Credit Union. If you need a loan, it's game time. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden-Aliquippa. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter or click friendlyfcu.org. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
Did you know Fisher's New Brighton Foodland is as close as a click? That's right. You can order your groceries right from your home. Click grocerystorenewbrighton.com and fill your shopping cart up. It's just that easy. Or stop in to shop for your favorite items. They specialize in fresh meats, hoagies, bakery items, and of course the deli. Pick up a delicious hot meal to go like fried chicken dinners, and don't forget fried fish every Friday. Don't cook, make it a Foodland Day. Visit Fisher's New Brighton Foodland, your one stop to shop for all needs, or click grocerystorenewbrighton.com.
If you have big plans for this fall, like a new car or home remodeling project, but feel like it's getting a little late in the game and you're out of timeouts, it's time to call an audible, a 749 audible. This is Coach Andy Dengel from Freedom United Federal Credit Union. 24-month personal loans are now available with approved credit from 7.49%. So get up to the line, the teller line that is, and call your own 749 audible. Stop in for details. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Mitch Carver from Carver Construction. Playing a great football game takes teamwork, great leaders, and great individuals. As a former high school football coach myself, I know what it takes to win. I apply these same qualities to Carver Construction in New Brighton. Satisfying customers isn't anything new at Carver. We've been doing it since 1982 for both residential and commercial renovations. I'm behind every job we do, so I can guarantee you that every time you deal with us, you win. Call us or visit us at our website at carverconstructionpa.com.
We're back. The Coach's Corner on Beaver County Radio. Tonight we're streaming live from we're actually a 2-hour broadcast. Usually we're at 1 hour. But we are live from the Edward Sondheimer Communication Center at the Larry Bruno Foundation Circle of Achievement in Beaver Falls. We're with the Beaver Falls Tigers. And this place is a tremendous, like a Hall of Fame. It has a lot of Beaver Falls. Joe Namath, John Mazza, the Waltons, Candy Young. But it also has Beaver County history. It's growing. It's not going to open until 2024. It's going to be for everybody, including people like my next co-host, Robert Mangino, is with me. And we are joined by two of the young men from Beaver Falls who they seem a little nervous, but I bet you guys are more nervous now than you are on the field. We are joined by Damian Lee. Damian, say hi.
Hi.
And we are joined by Denari Harris.
Hi.
All right, guys. So we see that you guys are on the field, pretty fearless on the field. You've won some tough games, lost a couple. You heard what your coach had to say. But you guys are in a tough conference. You know it's a tough game every night. But it looks like you're playoff bound right now. And how do you feel with seniors being leaders on this team? And what have you done as leaders to try to help these young guys realize what it's going to take to keep winning and win during the playoffs?
I pretty much value, making sure everyone knows their assignment on the field, because if someone makes a mistake and it's for a physical reason, you can't really blame them, but you just really have to make sure everyone knows what they're doing each play and in each situation. And as long as you can get that, you should be all right.
Denari, what's it mean that you were named a captain this year? Is that the coaches naming you, or is that players voting you?
To be honest, it feels good to be named the captain. The coach Nardone, he named me a captain. I feel like he named me a captain because he seen I was putting in hard work at practice, and it shows on the field. So, yeah.
Are you pretty proud of that fact that you got named the captain? Because there's other seniors that could be, but there's, 4 captains, am I right? Or is there more? Just 4 captains. That's pretty special to be named the captain, especially in your senior year.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty good to be named the captain. Get to lead my team.
Okay. Robert, you got anything right now?
What do you guys like best about playing football? One of the things that I like as I'm calling the games, because you guys are just so mild and polite right now, and then you put the helmets on, whether it's offense, defense, you guys are ready to go after people. What's it like for you to play? What motivates you? What inspires you to play?
I really just like to go out there and play with my brothers, to be honest with you, because the ball's going to stop bouncing one day, and, I just like to go and have fun with my brothers, to be honest with you.
There you go.
I would say I like competing, and I'm just a competitor at heart. I never want to lose. I always go out there with the intentions to win. And I would say my favorite thing about playing football would definitely be, learning how to be a team And through my 4 years, I've been the youngest guy on the team, and I've gone all the way up to a leader now. So I just have to be someone the younger guys can look up to, and it's definitely helping.
Sounds like that's why your coach picked you to be a captain. Damian, you are a defensive tackle and offensive tackle, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I ask almost every player when we do this show every week, from the Elwood City kids to the Ambridge kids to the Central Valley kids, doesn't matter. Would you rather block and have a guy score a touchdown behind you for the winning play, or would you rather make that tackle and save the game at the end?
Personally, for me, I would rather make the game-winning tackle opposed to the block. Yeah, because I like defense better. I like tackling people.
I got you. Now, Denari, wide receiver, cornerback. Same question, but you're going to bat it out of the end zone and prevent the guy from catching the winning touchdown, or you're going to be the guy to pull it in and score. And you can either one's fine. It's 50-50 every week. Everybody's different. But you tell me honestly, what would you rather do?
See, with me,
Yeah.
I would really like to score the last touchdown of the game and win the game.
Chicks dig the touchdowns. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Robert?
Yep. When you play football, you talk about this team sport and some leadership. What do you learn from football that you believe that you'll carry with you beyond football?
Like football teaches a lot of life lessons. Like when we lose, it's all about how you get knocked down and how you respond, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would definitely piggyback off what he said. It teaches you how to take a hit and recover from it. Like it's not about how you lose; it's about how you come back the next week after losing.
Guys, football on Friday nights is special, not only just in Beaver County, but the WPL, Pennsylvania, Texas, Florida, doesn't matter what it is. How do you feel coming out of the tunnel, coming out of the locker room on Friday night? You see your family, your students, your friends, the bright lights. It's just a special feeling. It's obviously completely different than what it is. You got all that hard practice when nobody's watching. But what's it like? What feeling do you have when you're coming out of that locker room?
There's no better feeling than coming out and getting ready to play on Friday night. It's just pure adrenaline, energy, and you're just ready to go out there and play football.
Done all right?
Yeah, kind of like what he said. Friday nights were just wonderful. Like seeing everybody in the stands, it's just beautiful to me. I love playing on Friday nights.
Let me ask you the next thing. Your head coach is here, and I've been close by when he's talking to you guys after the game. When you win a big game, he lets you know it. He's very emotional, and when you guys need to hear it, he tells you when things are going wrong. But when you guys are doing positive things, like at the end of the Elwood City game, he had you guys all fired up. And I imagine it's like that at practice and in the locker room. Talk to us about what he brings, because you guys have been on teams with other coaches. But what's it like playing for your coach right now?
Yeah, playing for Coach Nardone, it's just like a great feeling, because like he's been there before. He's won the state championships. He's coached the state championships. He's coached the Whipple teams. It's just like a great feeling to be on his team. He's a great guy. He's just a good person.
Not only just in the football aspect, the last 4 years I've grown to know Coach Nardone a lot better, and he knows how to motivate the team. He knows what helps us get better, and how to get us to where we need to be, like in prior seasons.
Mr. Mangino, you got it?
One of the things that Coach Nardone talked to me about last week was the importance of finishing. That it's one thing to play really well in the first quarter and the second quarter, but you got to carry it through. And the game against Mohawk, terribly disappointing to give up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. So how do you apply that thinking and increase your level of commitment and then the level of commitment of others around you to make sure you finish those games not only the way he wants you to, but to get the W the way you want to as well?
I would say we can't let it slip away from us like that. And at halftime, we were some of us were not content with the lead we had, as it was not that big of a lead as we thought it would be. And we didn't use that energy to elevate our game play to get to where we want to be. Instead, we used it to get down on ourselves, and the loss definitely showed that.
Yeah, kind of like what he said. At halftime, guys were just like all over the place because they just didn't expect us to be up by a point or two or whatever it was. But like, it's just like I said earlier. It don't matter how hard you fall, as long as you get back up. And the next week, you just got to ball out.
Guys, let's go away from football a little bit. Let's just say you're seniors. Obviously, you're thinking football. But let's talk about what your plans are after your senior year and maybe what you want to do with yourself and what you want to be. Let's say the NFL doesn't work out, which obviously you all have dreams for that. We all did with kids. But what do you want to do and what do you want to be in, say, 10 years?
Well, actually, if football doesn't work out after high school, I want to be an electrician.
Oh, okay.
'Cause, like,
good.
That just seems pretty cool to me. That's just what I want to do.
You always have work as learning a trade. A lot of kids don't understand that this day, but that's very good. Damien, how about you? What are you thinking?
So my plan is hopefully to go to a 4-year school to play football, and
what do you want to study? What do you want to look at?
I'm looking for business or something in the sports field.
Okay.
So that if after college I don't end up playing football, I could still do something involved with the game that I love.
That's fantastic. So maybe a therapist or something. So when I'm old and I got broken down knees,
No,
you
he
can
said
work
with
on me.
football players, with guys who
But
are
I
still
look like a
playing.
football
But guys who
player.
are still playing the game.
I
he
still
said.
want him to be, he can make big money being a therapist. But last question before we go to break, guys. It's let's just say we're 2 months from now. It's a Friday night. There's no football. There's nothing to do. What are you doing to relax? What are you doing to unwind? What are you doing when you have some free time?
Me personally, I usually just lay down or watch something on TV or play video games.
Video games. That's the answer all the time. Denari, how about you?
Yeah, just like he said, I'm probably gonna be playing video games or watching a movie. Because it's gonna be pretty cold outside in 2 months. So
you're gonna stay inside. You're an inside guy.
Yeah.
Robert, anything for these gentlemen?
I don't
before
blame
we-
him for staying inside. It's cold out there come December.
Yeah, it is.
I don't want to be out there unless it's Acrisure
Yeah.
for the championship.
Yeah.
That's a different story. Bring on all the cold you can. But I'm glad to see that you guys are looking at opportunities beyond football. Being an electrician, honorable profession, and I wish you well with it. And wanting to get into business and something regarding that field when it comes back to sports, great there too. Maintaining a focus and a commitment. Love the fact that you guys talked about wanting to recognize the value of football for what you're learning now and what it will apply later on. And I just wanted to say I wish you the best at this point with the rest of the season, and looking forward to seeing you guys get down to Acrisure one more time.
Thank you.
All right, guys, Damian Lee and Denari Harris. We're going to have two of their teammates next. It's the Coach's Corner on Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP 99.3 FM, streaming live on the WBVP WNBA Facebook and our Beaver County YouTube channel. Tonight's broadcast, it's a special 2-hour broadcast. We're going to have a lot of local celebrities kind of thing. We're going to have some ex-coaches and some people. We're here live from the Edward Sondheimer Communications Center at the Larry Bruno Foundation Circle of Achievement in Beaver Falls. It's a real fun place, and I think this place is going to be an attraction, not only for people from Beaver Falls, but from all over the place. There's so many nice memories here. It's kind of almost like a Beaver County Hall of Fame, but it's going to be adding more and more and more. We're going to come back with two more of these young men from Beaver Falls here on Beaver County Radio.
It might be time to repair or replace that old garage door. Call on Robin and her team of expert installers at Electric Garage Door Sales in Monaca. Dial 724-774-3200 and your door will work like a charm. Featuring CHI quality garage doors, LiftMaster garage door openers, and over 50 years experience, Robin and her team will get it done right. Electric Garage Door Sales. Give them a call at 724-774-3200 or find them online at electricgaragedoorsales.com.
Are you a believer?
I am absolutely a believer.
And I'm a Beaver believer.
But I'm the biggest Baba Beaver believer.
All right, man, you got me.
Be a Beaver believer in a new Nissan. Get a new Rogue S for just $350. New Ultima.
Are you a believer?
I am absolutely a believer.
And I'm a Bubba Beaver believer.
But I'm the biggest Baba Beaver believer.
All right, man, you got me.
Be a Beaver believer in a new Nissan. Get a new Rogue S for just $359 a month, or a new Ultima Premium package for only $359 a month. Plus guaranteed credit approval and the best certified pre-owned warranty.
Stop in and become a Baba Beaver believer like me.
And me.
At Beaver County Auto.
This football season, don't pass on McGee Heating and Air Conditioning. Honest sales and 7 days a week emergency service have made them tops in their game for over 60 years. That's how long families just like yours have been relying on McGee for all their heating and cooling needs. Get ready now for the cooler days ahead and call McGee today at 724-375-7112. Serving the Beaver Valley, including Aliquippa, Monaca, Hopewell, and Center Township. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning. Family owned and operated, Main Street, Aliquippa. Good luck to all the teams who visit the Gridiron this season from McGee Heating and Air Conditioning.
The local McDonald's restaurants are proud to be partners with Beaver County Radio in sponsoring Beaver County high school football games all season long. Stop into any of the local McDonald's restaurants for everyday value items like 2 for $3 mix and match, sausage burritos, sausage McMuffin, and hash browns. Don't forget to download the app for extra special savings. Looking for a great part-time job? Text McHire.com today to apply. Good luck to all the Beaver County football teams this season from your local McDonald's restaurants. I'm loving it.
No matter what the circumstances, no matter the reason, one of the few things that is left when a loved one passes on are the memories. Staging those memories in an honoring way is one of the reasons so many people have chosen J&J Spratt Funeral Home. A person's legacy depends on a lifetime of accomplishments and then how they are remembered. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has helped start the process of creating positive legacies for over 70 years. Visit jjsprattfh.com. Joseph M. Spratt, Supervisor and Funeral Director.
Do you know a child who struggles to read? If so, the tuition-free brick-and-mortar Provident Charter School West is here to help. The Provident Charter School West in Baden is helping children from 1st grade through 4th learn to overcome dyslexia so they can return to their hometown schools and graduate with their friends meets them with dyslexia so they can become the inventors and educators of tomorrow. For more information, visit providentcharterschool.org.
If you're a parent that's already watched plenty of youth baseball or soccer games, you know the value of teamwork. Whether it's the team on the field or your team of family members at home, strengthening that group can pay off in many ways. Keystone Wellness Programs is offering their free Strengthening Families program in Beaver County for families of children ages 10 to 14. Learn how to increase family bonding and communications, all while having fun together. Visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org for details.
I got it, Bruce. I know. That's why I'll get him next. His name is Steve Biggins. Okay, here we go. All right, we're back on a special edition of the Coach's Corner here from the Larry Bruno Foundation, downtown Beaver Falls, right on 7th Avenue. Soon to be a special place, planning on opening in 2024. And again, they're going to have this where anybody can come in. You can bring your family. It will be no admission charge. They will take donations. Obviously, if you look around this place, donations of pictures and history. And speaking of history, I have Mr. Bruce Fry back here, a longtime Beaver County broadcaster and track coach and others. And now we also have two more of the young men from Beaver Falls. We have Damiano Sims. Did I get it right?
Yes.
All right. I know you're going to. Yeah, I don't know if I want to meet you in a dark alley. Damiano Sims. He's a guard, defensive end. He's a senior. And Bricks Rawl. We've got him, a running back, linebacker, both seniors. Let's start with you, Damiano. Being a senior, I'll ask you the same question I asked your teammates. You were voted a captain. How does it feel, and how special is it to be a captain on this team?
It actually feels nice. Watching the other seniors from the past years and
it's all right, man.
Going like leading them by example, from them leading from examples, and yeah.
Bricks, how about you? You're one of the a core of running backs, and there's a lot of other seniors. They could have picked other guys, but you got picked, and it has to feel special that your coaches and teammates look at you as a captain.
It feels great knowing that they look at me and see that I'm a leader and think that I can help the younger kids help lead them by example and show them what they can do and what's it called?
How to lead by example?
Lead by example and what it takes to be a leader and how to show effort towards the game.
Okay, Bruce.
Damiano, we've mentioned you before wearing jersey number 60. Your ability to pretty much slide laterally and then blast open a hole at the point of attack. How did you learn that skill? How did you work on it? How did you develop it? Because I'm sure the guy to your right is very proud that you came up with that ability.
Actually, guy to my right taught me how to slide, how to do all that, and lead through the hole, know who to hit, the linebacker, all that. So it's actually a blessing to do all that.
You've certainly picked up on it well, and you were a huge, you're the kind of guy that you don't see in the stats for receiving yards or rushing yards, but
Yes,
you
sir.
certainly paved the way on the ground.
Yeah, yes, I actually do. But I just like blocking for my teammates, having them go down the field and cheer them on and get us touchdowns and win the game.
Guys, a lot of these questions will be what we ask your teammates, but talk to us what it's like in school. You got a lot of good support from family, friends, but there's a lot of kids that come. You got a good tradition. You guys see all the tradition here in the hallways, and Hall of Famers went to school at Beaver Falls. What's it like being a football player, wearing that jersey, walking around school, and kind of being a big man on campus?
It feels nice to have other people look up to me, but I actually want to be like one of them Hall of Famers someday and have my jersey hang up in the glass and stuff.
Bricks, if you could take the mic. What's it like when the kids, the young kids, come up to you, especially at games or after games or even in town, when somebody notices that you're a player for Beaver Falls? How do you feel when a young kid notices, hey, he's got a Beaver Falls jacket on, he's part of the team? Because this community takes such pride in the team. How do you feel when a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kid comes up to you and talks to you?
It feels great because I remember being that type of kid where if I seen someone from the high school team and they were a star on the team, I used to look up to them a lot. So it feels great knowing that they're looking up to me and they're watching how I play, and hopefully they grow up to be something similar, like a star.
Bricks, simple arithmetic would tell us Beaver Falls won the state championship 7 years ago. That means you guys must have been able to go check that out, the Jeters of the world, and watch those. Did you get a chance to see them?
Yeah.
And they were really good. I'm sure that made an impression on you right there at a young age.
Yeah, it did, because seeing that
you have memories of that? Can you remember going to their games?
Yeah, I remember being at those games. The games were big. They really showed out, and I look up to how they play the game. Hopefully we can copy or replicate what they do.
Guys, as you heard your coach talk, some tough losses, some good wins. You guys are in a really tough conference, so it's not many easy games. You're in a battle all the time, and you guys play tough teams out of conference. Talk to us about that, preparing every week, knowing you have tough opponents. What's it like during practice for you guys?
Practice really on Mondays is really a mental day, and then throughout the week we have to make sure everybody's on their assignment and everybody knows what they have to do. And if they don't, then we have to drill it into them so everybody knows what their assignment is.
Bricks, you're to be commended for your performance Friday night. We had your game with Elwood. Everybody's familiar with the football statistic, YAC, yards after contact. But we added a new one for you on Friday night, PBY, which is piggyback yards. Do you realize how many yards you had with dudes on your back? Can you sense that these guys, you were giving people free rides there for a while?
When I'm running the ball, I don't really feel anybody when they're hanging on to me unless they grab my legs. Besides that, I don't really feel it. But when I went back and watched on film, I seen how many people was on me. It surprised me.
Yeah, no doubt. There were some runs where we thought they'd be 3 or 4 yard pickups, and it wound up being 9, 10, and 11. So you're certainly being commended. And I'm sure in film sessions your teammates pick up on that and try to come up with a similar effort.
Yeah, I mean, they during film sessions when they see it, they make jokes and laugh and everything, but they're like they say, I mean, they're very welcome. Like, they thank me because I'm able to get those yards after contact, and they know that I'm going to be the one that wants more yards every time I touch the ball.
Guys, let's start with Damiano. When you grow up in a program like Beaver Falls, there's a lot of good players before you. So unlike some other programs, you may have to wait your turn. I know both of you played a little bit last year, but sometimes you don't play a ton for 4 years. You have to wait your turn. It's a team. You heard your coach talk about a family, being a team. How important is that to you to be on a team, a family, to know that you're representing the guy next to you and not just yourself?
It feels good because my freshman year I didn't play really. Sophomore year I got a little bit playing time. Then my junior year I would start playing more and more, then learn the game more. By the leaders from the years before teach me the game of football.
Bricks, same thing. You played some last year, a bigger role this year. There's a lot of running backs. You've got a lot of talented guys. Sometimes you're the guy that shines. Sometimes it's someone else. We've had it's not just you in the running back room. You were the star Friday night. You might not be the star this Friday or even in a playoff game, but you're part of a team, especially in the running back room, because there's a lot of competition there.
I mean, like you said, it's a family. I like to see everybody else eat, even if it's not myself. I feel like if someone else is eating, then it means I'm eating too. And if someone else is out there being a star, then it makes me feel like a star too, because we're winning. Everybody else out doing their job.
Bricks, we're getting towards the end of the regular season, so you've pretty much seen everybody in the MAC, and you've played some exhibition games. From your experience this season, what team hit you the hardest physically? Who hit the hardest?
The hardest, I would like to say maybe Knock or Neshannock, one of those two teams.
Yeah, they've both been successful, so I guess that's no surprise, but you would know. You're the one getting hit.
Guys, let's talk about you outside of football. You're more than football players. You're students, your brothers, your sons. You guys have family. What do you like to do away from football? Just you're relaxing a little bit. You're done with your studies. What do you like to do to relax?
Usually I play video games.
Video games. Yeah. It seems like everybody. What's your favorite video game?
Ooh, probably Call of Duty.
Okay, you're a Call of Duty guy. How about you, Damiano? What do you like to do? Same thing, video games?
Video games for sure. My favorite game, I have to say 2K, NBA 2K.
Okay,
basketball.
so you got video. What do you guys want to do after this year? You're seniors. You got to be thinking about, obviously, we want to make the playoffs. We want to make another title run. You're thinking about a million things in your mind, but it's your last year of high school. This time next year, where do you want to be? What do you want to do after high school?
Probably being in college playing for another team.
Okay.
Or if not, I'll go to trade school plumbing.
Okay, plumbing, good profession. Always will have work.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Bricks? What's your
Hopefully,
plan?
I'm able to play football at the next level.
Okay.
If not, I want to go to college for computer science.
Computer science. So video games is helping you along with that.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with computer science? What would that do for you?
Something with programming. I like technology. I like to diddle daddle with it, and I just like being able to I put something out there someone buys my stuff or someone sees how much work I'm putting in on it.
You never have to look for a job in computer science.
Right,
That's for sure. They'll find
either
you.
one. You can always use. Let's talk about football at the next level. Do you have anybody looking at you? Is there any schools you've looked at yet, or if you're not to the point where you're touring schools yet?
I'm not really at that point right now.
Okay.
No one's really looking at me, and I'm not really looking at any schools. I mean, there's I'm hoping by the end of the season there's some schools looking at me.
Okay. How about you, Damiano? Same thing? Is there anybody you're kind of looking at, or is it all still wide open for you?
Same thing, still wide open, looking for a school. And hope I get looked at towards the end of the season.
So if anybody's watching, we want to tell them to go and look at your highlights and see you guys have been doing, not only yourself but your teammates. Bruce, you got any more questions for these young men?
No, they've done well. We're glad to have them here, and we wish them the best. That's for sure. I'm sure they're thinking about freedom, but we're very glad they could show up. We hope they get a chance to look around. Maybe their picture will be up on these walls someday at the Larry Bruno Foundation.
Before we take a break, what I want to know is, did you get enough food? You guys okay?
Yeah.
Now, the four of you, who ate the most? That's what I want to know.
Definitely David Lee.
Damien, they're calling you out, man. Did you have 5 plates? 4? What did you get? 3 plates. That's okay. You guys are allowed to eat. There's food there. Just, go and get some more of it. That's all right. Less for me and Bruce at the end. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Bricks Raw, Damiano Sims, 2 of the senior captains on the Beaver Falls Tigers, a special 2-hour edition of the Coach's Corner here at the Larry Bruno Foundation from the Edward Sondheimer Communication Center at the Larry Bruno Foundation Circle of Achievement here on Beaver County Radio. We'll be right back after these messages.
Looking for home services? Call Patriot Home Care in Beaver Falls. Their staff provides company, conversation, and companionship to all patients, ensuring medications are taken on time, participating in fun community activities, personal care, meal prep, and light household work are all services provided by Patriot Home Care, all thanks to the hardworking and selfless team members. Call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or stop in Patriot Home Care, 1225 7th Avenue, Beaver Falls.
The pregame show will set the stage for the upcoming game coverage. A pre-career start at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center can set up your high school student for life. I'm Vince Crateri, Public Relations and Marketing Specialist at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center with great news. There is still time for this school year in some of our top earning career training programs, but you must act now. Have your child or grandchild see their school counselor today. Hurry. Classroom space is limited, and these prime opportunities are on a first-come, first-served basis. Let the Beaver County CTC open doors for you in the game of life. Click bcctc.org.
The award-winning Grand Valley Inn on Route 51 in Falston provides a delicious family dining experience. Grand Valley Inn is a great place for a party or event. They have banquet rooms for small and large gatherings. Fish and Friday night football go great together in Beaver County. The Grand Valley Inn has great fish and seafood specials on Fridays, live music on the weekends through October, and trivia night on Thursdays. Follow Grand Valley Inn on Facebook to keep up with all the fun. That's Grand Valley on Route 51 in Falston.
It's football season, and if you can see the Aquaman of Beaver County heading deep on a fly route to the end zone, it shouldn't surprise you. This is Jim Riggio, the Aquaman of Beaver County from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Why, you ask? It's obvious. Going deep or the full distance for our customers, no matter what we are up against, is in our game plan. Now, what isn't quite so simple is getting my web feet into a pair of those cleats. This is the Aquaman from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. And looky here, I'm wide open that is, to doing whatever it takes to serve you. Click bfwater.net.
Listening to live sports on the radio in Beaver County is a tradition. This is Craig Fontana from Moon Township Ford, and I ought to know. My dad, Bill Fontana, has called games for over 50 years. Beaver County people know a good call when they hear one, and the best call you can make is to buy your next new or used vehicle at Moon Township Ford. Click moontownshipford.net or visit Moon Township Ford on University Boulevard.
Falcone's Mood, we're friends.
A Beaver County high school football season is here. Players protect that beautiful smile with a visit to your hometown dentist, Dr. Peter Montini and his team at St. Barnabas Dental. While tackling tooth decay is #1 in the game plan, Dr. Montini offers a wide array of services, including custom-fitted athletic mouthguards, clear aligner orthodontics, virtually painless injections, and same-day crowns. Call or text 724-495-3350 to schedule your appointment today. St. Barnabas Dental in Beaver, creating beautiful smiles for life.
At Pittsburgh-based Goldberg, Persky & White, we've helped thousands of former Babcock & Wilcox and J&L Steel employees receive compensation for their asbestos-caused lung cancer or mesothelioma. Since the time from asbestos exposure to disease diagnosis spans decades, many do not realize their illness was caused by asbestos. To find out if you are entitled to compensation, call GPW today at 1-800-COMPLEX or visit online at gpwlaw.com.
Back on the Coach's Corner here on Beaver County Radio. We are at 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA, also the FM stations as well, 99.3 and 95.7. We are streaming live on WBVP and WMBA Facebook and our Beaver County Radio YouTube channel. Tonight, it's a special 2-hour broadcast. We're here live at the Edward Sondheimer Communications Center at the Larry Bruno Foundation Circle of Achievement in Beaver Falls. And we've already had the Beaver Falls Tigers, Coach Nick Nardone, and 4 of his young players. Also, we want to thank New Brighton Foodland, Zookie's, Giles Country Market for the food. We want to thank all of them for everything donated. I'm joined once again by Mr. John Parada, and no Beaver County Sports Hall of Fame or foundation or anything. You can't talk about Beaver County sports without talking about our next guest, Mr. Carl Floyd. Carl, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, John knows you a lot better than I do, but you were an assistant coach under Larry Bruno. You were a head coach at Riverside. You were a head coach at Elwood City. What's it mean to you to see a new place like this in Beaver Falls honoring not only Beaver Falls but honoring Beaver County?
Well, this is just a special place. The people behind this have done a great job with the organization and keeping it going. And there's no doubt Stevie Higgins, he's been the backbone as far as this part of it. It's just a great thing that people, like you said, in Beaver County, not just Beaver Falls, can take pride in.
Carl, you coached under Larry Bruno. You knew Larry really well, and the Larry Bruno Hall of Excellence. What did he mean to you as a young coach and getting your career started?
Well, John, first of all, it was the most important thing in my life. And when I had a chance to come here and coach with Larry, I had been coaching out of Northwestern, and when I had this opportunity, I took it because now I realized I wanted to be a coach. And I really found out after coaching, I didn't really know much. And I came here, and he was my mentor, and very much, so much of what I've done in my life, I owe to him. But John, more important than that, he was my friend. He and I were great friends for 27 years. He and I operated the Larry Bruno football camp, which was a great thing here in Beaver County. And in those 27 years, we had a lot of laughs and never an argument. We just worked together, and I've been very thankful for him. And really, I know that without him, my life wouldn't have been what it was.
Absolutely. And, the thing that always strikes me about Larry and his whole legacy, beyond just Beaver Falls and the games, games he won, all the great players, you look at all the schools throughout Beaver County, almost everyone has had somebody who in some way had a connection to Larry, either played for him, coached under him. I mean, it's really remarkable how many people's careers he held.
Well, you know what? It was not unusual for him to help other people, other young people that didn't play for him, go on to school, other coaches to benefit from things that he had done. They were not necessarily Beaver Falls per se people. He was just, he loved the game. The game in itself meant so much to him that he was going to do everything in his power to make it a better game for everyone. He just loved it. It was his dedication was unreal. He didn't miss a clinic, and when he went to a clinic, he stayed for the whole thing, and he was taking notes, and he would often say, if I come out of here with one little thing to help my program. And he left us, just Larry Matrazzo and Joe Ursita and Bobby Blythe and a long list of others who have benefited from being with Larry. But like I said, John, the most thing about me was I appreciated his friendship. I really did. That was even more than the other. Yeah.
Coach, obviously you coach a long time. You have a lot of memories, a lot of former players, a lot of things that are important to you, a lot of kids. And as a coach, it's nice to win, and you're known for winning, but you're influencing young lives. And there's not a coach that I've ever talked to that doesn't want to influence a young man to make him a better person. As a coach, can you talk to us about the important things to you that you did to try to help kids and make them to become better men?
Well, the amount of time that you spend with these young men, in many cases, is more time than their own fathers spent.
Right.
And you do have an influence on their lives, and you try to become part of it. And you are very proud when good things are happening for them, and for sometimes when things aren't going too good, you want to be there for them too. Some who haven't been quite as fortunate.
Right.
And the relationships that you develop are, it's hard to say. When they say the family, football family, it's what it is.
Exactly. That's the next thing I was going to ask you
that's what it is.
We heard Coach Nardone talk about that, and almost every successful program, they talk about family, the love for each other, more important than being there for the guy next to you than yourself. And were those the kind of things you preached as well when you were coaching?
You live by it. You don't preach it so much. You show it every day. You show your family. I had a couple little things that I did when I coached. I took different type of assignments. I wanted to be I took parking lot duty, which was the worst duty that you could have. But I wanted to greet my kids when they came in. If it practiced the night before, I got on their back and rode them. I wanted to be there the next morning to show that there is another side, and I am a human being, and that I do love them. I volunteer for cafeteria duty. Some of these were the worst. People didn't want them. And I figured, a lot of times this is where kids are getting in trouble. And I wanted to make sure if they were going to get in trouble, they weren't going to do it on my guard. And they respected that. And this still goes on today. I haven't coached since 1989. Now, I was an athletic director for another dozen years. But the relationships that I have are still great. What happens, a lot of them move away. They're gone, but they stay in touch. And I know I'm looking forward to getting together with kids from Elwood City that I coached. I was just inducted into their Hall of Fame, and that's going to be in December.
Okay.
And I was also inducted into Riverside's Hall of Fame. That's going to be next May. So I'm looking forward at these times, getting together with them. And John here was, like I said, John was like one of my players at times. He knows the good kids I had. He knows what they were like. He knows what kind of reflection they were on our program. And John, there was a lot of love, wasn't there?
Yep.
And if I could interject.
Okay, good.
I know a lot of people that played for Carl, both at Riverside and Elwood City. Many of his former players I'm friends with or know at least casually. Never have I heard one bad
No,
word. I'm serious, Carl. Your players loved you, and they knew you could be tough some days.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
understood it. I'm sure there were days they didn't want to see you, but I mean, I hear so many things, and I'd like to say, too, when I was a young guy starting out years ago, I mean, I was just a kid. I was 18, and I would go up to Riverside. They didn't have lights then. They played Saturday games, and I'd cover a lot of their games on Saturday afternoon. And Carl always treated me like gold. He didn't treat me like some 18-year-old kid that didn't really know what he was doing. He always was good to me. He was patient. He explained things to me. And he really helped me out and gave me a lot of confidence when I first started.
Coach, is there one game, one memory, one thing that stands out above anything else to you? I know that's a hard question.
Well,
because
you know
have
what?
So many good things.
There have been a lot of good moments.
Right.
I was fortunate, but you know what? The ones that stick out sometimes were the tough losses you take at times. And one in particular was in 1984. I was at Riverside, and we played Beaver Falls for the WPIL championship.
Okay.
Many of those kids, they were from Coppell, where I live, and they were very close to me. And also what we had was my daughter. My daughter, Michelle, was the homecoming queen for Beaver Falls. There was that relationship. And before every game, I would go to Mass on Saturday mornings because we were a Saturday team.
Right.
But before this Beaver Falls game, I took Bob Blythe. I was his best man. He baptized one of my daughters, my daughter Carla. And I took his mother to the Mass with me. And the game ended up 14-13. And Beaver Falls won the game. But Bob had something, when we met after the game, and we met out there, he says, Carl, I wish it would have ended in a tie. And I said, Bob, so do I.
Yeah.
But you build these relationships. And there are things that I don't think the average person has the opportunity to develop the type of closeness that we've had with our players and other players. So
one thing I was going to bring up, it's a recent memory, and I saw you at the state basketball semifinals. Here it was at Newcastle. You were in the stands. I believe that's your granddaughter that it was?
My granddaughter, Cassie. Yeah.
And it was an unbelievable game. We had the privilege of broadcasting, myself and Joe Sager, and I saw you there, and that was an exciting game because nobody really expected them to win. Your granddaughter played for Blackhawk.
Yeah, she
did. And it was just a tremendous atmosphere, tremendous game. That has to be a great memory watching one of your
it was. What a game she played, too.
Oh, she was tremendous.
You know what? The last 5 games, she carried them.
I know.
They went, and then, of course, they went to the state championship, and now she's at Edinburgh.
Right.
She's playing at Edinburgh. But I was fortunate. I had seven grandkids. Thank God they were healthy, and they were all athletic. All of them played at Blackhawk.
Yep.
I'm down to my last one right now.
Okay.
And
one more.
Dante Campagna.
We had him on our show.
He's been a really an outstanding player there. They're having a tough year.
Yeah.
And it's something that you have to go through in life, and hopefully
we'll get through it.
Yeah, I was too. I lost my first 14 or 15 games when I went to Riverside.
Oh, really?
So I know what it was like. I know what an 0-10 season is like. And but you get over it. And I'll tell you a little story about that. After the second or third game that year, Larry took a ride over to Riverside. He says, Carl, he says, do you want to come home? I said, oh, Larry, I'm gonna whip this thing here. He said so.
You did. John, do you have any last questions before we take a next break? Any last questions for Coach Flory?
I know you haven't coached, like you said, 89 was your last year, but I see it a lot of games.
Well, yeah.
You still love football. I mean, you never lost that love even after you quit coaching.
I've had a player playing for all those years.
Yeah.
My son Carl, that's the reason I retired when my son Carl was in 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I says, I will be there selling booster tickets, helping serve breakfast, helping Coach Mancini. Dwight, I think you were coaching at that time too, yeah. What a player this guy
Our next guest,
sure
Dwight Collins.
But I took those 3 years off, and then I went back and became the athletic director at Elwood. So actually, I've been involved practically all my life, one way or another, and it's been a great run, for me and
Coach,
the family.
We thank you so much for joining us. It's always nice to see you at games, basketball games, football games, and to read about your past and your teams. And it was a joy getting to meet you again. And thank you so much. We're going to take another break. We're going to be joined by some more coaches, and we got a couple more guests coming on. Special edition of the Coaches Corner here on WBVP WNBA, Beaver County Radio.
Being part of a credit union is like being part of a team where everyone plays and, more importantly, everyone wins. This is Cindy Hiladio for Friendly Federal Credit Union. If you need a loan, it's game time. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden, Maricopa. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter or click friendlyfcu.org. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
Did you know Fisher's New Brighton Foodland is as close as a click? That's right. You can order your groceries right from your home. Click grocerystorenewbrighton.com and fill your shopping cart up. It's just that easy. Or stop in to shop for your favorite items. They specialize in fresh meats, hoagies, bakery items, and of course the deli. Pick up a delicious hot meal to go like fried chicken dinners, and don't forget fried fish every Friday. Don't cook, make it a Foodland Day. Visit Fisher's New Brighton Foodland, your one stop to shop for all needs, or click grocerystorenewbrighton.com.
If you have big plans for this fall, like a new car or home remodeling project, but feel like it's getting a little late in the game and you're out of timeouts, it's time to call an audible, a 749 audible. This is Coach Andy Dengel from Freedom United Federal Credit Union. 24-month personal loans are now available with approved credit from 7.49%. So get up to the line, the teller line that is, and call your own 749 audible. Stop in for details. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
It might be time to repair or replace that old garage door. Call on Robin and her team of expert installers at Electric Garage Door Sales in Monaca. Dial 724-774-3200 and your door will work like a charm. Featuring CHI quality garage doors, LiftMaster garage door openers, and over 50 years experience, Robin and her team will get it done right. Electric Garage Door Sales. Give them a call at 724-774-3200 or find them online at electricgaragedoorsales.com.
This is Mitch Carver from Carver Construction. Playing a great football game takes teamwork, great leaders, and great individuals. As a former high school football coach myself, I know what it takes to win. I apply these same qualities to Carver Construction in New Brighton. Satisfying customers isn't anything new at Carver. We've been doing it since 1982 for both residential and commercial renovations. I'm behind every job we do, so I can guarantee you that every time you deal with us, you win. Call us or visit us at our website at carverconstructionpa.com.
Are you a believer?
I am absolutely a believer.
And I'm a Bubba Beaver believer.
But I'm the biggest Bubba Beaver believer.
All right, man, you got me.
Be a Beaver believer in a new Nissan. Get a new Rogue S for just $359 a month or a new Ultima Premium package for only $359 a month. Plus guaranteed credit approval and the best certified pre-owned warranty.
Stop in and become a Bubba Beaver believer like me.
And me.
At Beaver County Auto.
We're back. Special edition of the Coach's Corner. Tonight, live from the Edward Sondheimer Communications Center at the Larry Bruno Foundation Circle of Achievement here in Beaver Falls. It's just a fun place. When I walked in, I didn't know what to think. The displays, and when you folks get to come in here, whether you're from Beaver County, whether you're from just outside of Beaver County, it's more than just Beaver Falls. There are a lot of Beaver Falls exhibits here. We talked about it before. Joe Namath and so many others. Candy Young, who didn't get to go to the Olympics but was tremendous at Beaver Falls. And so many other achievements. And Geneva achievements are on there as well. Just a fun place to be. We earlier talked with the head coach of Beaver Falls and 4 of his players. We talked to Carl Flory. And I'm still with Mr. John Parada, and I am now with another Beaver County legend, joining us, Mr. Dwight Collins. Coach, you're a coach. Welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks. Nice having me.
So, Dwight, I've known you for a while. I worked with you briefly years ago. I've seen you on the sidelines as a coach with the Tigers at football and also basketball. And one thing I notice about you is you're I don't want to say as intense as some coaches. You're quiet intensity. If things go wrong, you're not afraid to let a player know. But you pay attention to things that a lot of other coaches aren't. You're kind of like a coach that's within a coach. You're like backing up the coaches. You're not always there giving the X's and the O's, but when you notice things, you're a guy that kind of tries to keep the kids straight.
Well, I work closely with the kids.
Right.
Monday through Thursday. If you see me at practice, you would think otherwise. But that's what I think that I bring to the table to help out the team. And I enjoy it. It gives me a lot of freedom. I play both sides of the ball. I'm everywhere.
Right.
And it's enjoyable to me. It's not just stuck on, calling the defense or the offense. I don't too much care for that.
Right.
Because I don't think it's about the play. I think it's about the executioner. So if I can get the executioner to execute the play, we're in good shape.
So you're more of the guy that I've talked to you before. You kind of like being out of the limelight. You want to be the guy preparing the kids. You're bigger from the practice perspective, getting the kids ready. You really don't have a desire to be the head coach, to have that. You want to help teach the kids and help, again, like other coaches, keep those kids straight, help them become men.
No, I'm fine doing what I'm doing. I enjoy it. I become closer with the kids doing it this way than I can the other way. I enjoy just the practice, the talking to them. Those guys that was in here today, we were clowning. We had a good time, especially the one that was stuttering.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? He gets excited, and we
does.
talked about that
But that's
today.
okay.
But if you talk to him on a regular, when he's out on the field talking jump, he doesn't stutter. So it's a good relationship that I have with him, and I enjoy him.
Wait, what made you decide to get into coaching? I mean, obviously you had a great athletic career here.
That man standing right over there, Judge Richard Mancini. Yeah, he's the one that got me started.
And you must obviously like it because you've been doing it a long time now.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah. What do you impart? I mean, you're a Beaver Falls guy. You're a star in many sports. How can you and I realize the kids today don't remember when you played, but can you try to instill that pride and history? And I mean, you walk through this building here, and the history is just amazing, the sports in this city. I mean, is it something that you bring up now and again?
Oh, yeah. We talk about it often. But these guys some are not from here, some are, some just moved here. So it's not the real, I talk about the Alley Cats. That was the name of our defense. And everybody talks about Coach Bruno, but Coach Hard wasn't no joke either. And we played defense just as hard as we played offense. And I don't think they quite understand, but coming through here today, when the four that were in here, they got a different, look on Beaver Falls football, Beaver Falls sports, and it'll help them out down the road. They'll get it once they, get older.
What kind of influence did Larry Bruno have on you as a high school kid?
Well, those guys over there, Rick and Haig, they got him when he was younger, so he was a lot tougher. Yeah. When I got him, he was seasoned. I loved him. I had to. If he had a 9 o'clock meeting, I had to be downstairs at 8:30. And the locker room is different now because the coach's room was back in the back, and we had to sit right out there, and all he had to do is peek his head around the corner. So I would sit there. So one time I didn't sit there. He got me. But I have a lot of respect for him. I liked him more as a person than just a coach. He was like my dad, really. He was that cool of a guy. Yeah, he was.
Dwight, I went to high school at the same time you were in high school. We're the same age. What would the Dwight Collins of now tell the Dwight Collins of 17-year-old? What would you tell yourself?
Whoa, we don't have enough time. We don't have enough time. Whoa, boy.
One piece of advice. One thing.
Oh, my goodness.
Thing. Because everybody.
Oh, man.
Would you tell yourself to go to a different college? What would you tell yourself? Because you went to Pitt, you played in the NFL. What would you tell yourself that you might do something different?
Hard work harder.
Okay.
Work harder. Work harder. I didn't work hard. I got some hurdles there that threw me off, and I did never recover. Just keep working, keep working, keep working, keep working. And I think that's what would be the biggest thing that I would tell myself. And I'm not going to get into detail and
Right, that's
this, that,
okay.
and the other.
It's
It's
fine.
just
We
the
don't- I
work
just-
hard covers a big area for me.
We've
Just work
talked.
hard.
We've talked to some other gentlemen that were players in high school that went to college, that played in the pros. I mean, the jump from high school to college is a big one, but the jump from college to the pros is a big one as well. What kind of discipline does it take to be a college player, to then be a player in the pros? I mean, because it's more life consuming. It's more time. It's not just practicing for a couple hours a day and that's it, and then playing a game on Friday night. You're living it.
Well, living it was the easy part because we're playing.
Mhm.
I mean, the training we did all the time. That was
Mhm.
easy. It was the unknown. You know what I mean? We didn't know as a rookie going into camp. I didn't know what fan to bring. I didn't know where we were going to be at. I didn't know what clothes to wear.
Mhm.
I didn't know what to have and what to be ready for. It was the unknown. And as far as the playing part, you could play with them. It was just, can you play with them every play?
Right.
And that was the biggest thing. It's just you have to stay in tip-top shape. Tip-top shape. You have to be in shape mentally as well as physically.
Dwight, the recruiting today is, everybody all over the internet, there's clips of high school kids and who's recruiting who and who signed with who and who had a great class. I realize, you were before the internet days, but you were one of the top high school players in the country your senior year, and I know you had a whole lot of offers from a lot of places. What was that like going through that process and trying to make a decision when you had so many big-time programs interested in you?
Well, actually, it was pretty easy for me. My brother, Frank, he went to Salt Lake City, Utah. So we got to see him in 4 years play one time. So as all this recruiting's going on, I'm playing basketball meanwhile, and it was just got to be too much. But one time, Foge Fazio from the University of Pittsburgh was at the house, and my mom said, I heard her say, I wish he would go where we could see him play. And that was it for
important
me.
to you.
That was it. So, not that Pitt was at the top of my list, but Pitt was the closest to my mom. When I heard her say that would mean a lot to me.
It worked out pretty well.
Well, we did okay.
Yeah,
we did
not
all
bad.
right. We did all right.
Dwight, let's talk a little bit about this Beaver Falls team this year. You've been associated with the team, basketball and football, and again, as we talked to Coach Nardone, there's some tough losses. You're in a tough conference. It's not easy every night. There are a few games that are going to be easier than others, but it's a tough fight every night for these kids. It's not like it was a few years ago where every game was a little bit easier. How are these kids handling, and how are you as coaches handling this tough conference this year?
Well, just like I told you Friday night. I told you Friday night we were going to be okay.
Mhm.
We're okay because now, just because we're down 3 people,
Mhm.
now we got 9 others need to step up. People have to step up. I mean, you can't just say, oh, I'm not a sophomore, I can't play because I'm this. No, you don't have to be a senior to play. We need juniors, sophomores, freshmen. We need the best player on the field. So we got 11 people playing together. We're going to be all right because we have in this conference the best skill. We do.
Yeah, you do.
Catching and throwing. So now we got to resort back to what we can do and not worry about what they're doing. But we need 11 people on the field doing their job.
What do you think you guys need to, and it's towards the end of the year, obviously, but it's always something you can improve on. What do you feel your team needs to improve on to make a run in the playoffs?
Just understanding that it's a team game. And then there's no one individual that's going to make this thing happen. We have to play as a unit. And that's where we're at right now with what you seen last Friday. We have to, now everybody has to do their job. Everybody has to know their assignment. And if you don't, you're coming out. And that's the biggest thing for us right now. We're just wanting to find 11 people to play football. And we're going to find 11 people to play football. And the other guys are now buying in. Not that they weren't bought in before, but that, through the year things happen, and with the losses that we've had, we're not used to losing. So a little change in this, a little change in that. It's like I told you about the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We got a different season. It's getting ready to get cold. So there's another season getting ready to happen. How can you play in the cold?
Yep.
How do I know? It's the unknown. So that's what we're finding out right now. If we get 11 people playing football, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
Dwight, the game obviously has changed from the time you were in high school to now, but do you still see that the certain fundamentals still carry over and you have to do certain things to win in 2023 just like you had to do in 1979?
The biggest thing right now that I see is that when we played with those guys, I used to watch those two play. And it was an honor for me because he played with my brother and he was right after them. So I watched a lot of Beaver Falls football games. I was there. I was on the side. I was the ball boy. I used to pick with these guys. I used to watch them. And I used to see them at the camp roll down the hill while the coach is hiding behind a tree. I was just a little kid. I watched that. So I was in me. But right now, we knew the game of football. We knew the game. So if the coach is telling me I got the flat, I know the flat is not just this table area. The flat is this whole room. It was just the difference in them understanding and knowing the game. I think we're lacking there a lot. I think we got a lot of TV going on and highlights and clips, and we think we can just do that and just doing it one time. No, there's 1,000 hours of practice when they're doing these things. So once we get that across to them and the team aspect of it, well, watch out. And I'm not saying anything. I'm not making any predictions.
Of course
but I'm telling you that in AA football, we have better skill. And if we use that and we understand that, once we start to get that message, you're going to see different football games.
One thing I didn't get a chance to ask Coach Nardone, and I'll ask you, is there any player on the team now that has, from the time they were freshmen or from this year in camp or last year in camp, that has really, really worked hard and has ascended that you thought, man, we're not going to get anything out of this guy, or we're not sure if this kid's going to make it? Is there anybody that's really surprised you and now you guys are very proud of, and maybe a kid that goes under the radar a little bit?
Not.
Or maybe a group of kids?
Not in that way. Yes. There's a number of kids that I'm proud of that I've had since they've been freshmen.
Okay.
I had one that came up to me, would walk up to me as a ninth grader and walking like an old man to my coach, my bones is sore. And I tell him, your rump going to be sore if you don't get moving. So we have that kind of relationship. But there's a number of kids on this group. And that's why I hang around. It's because of the kids. I love the kids.
Right.
You know, when you hear a kid say, Coach, I hope you're coaching when I graduate. I mean, you know, you take that to heart. And then if you can push them a little bit more. So there's a lot of the kids out there on this team here that I'm very, very, very close with.
You're also an assistant basketball coach, there'll be a new head coach this year. You guys are losing some talent, but you're bringing some talent back. Anything, I know it's still football season, but we've got you here, and you were a good basketball player in high school as well. Talk to us a little bit about the basketball team and the change that happened and the kids you got coming back.
I think Ramon will do a very good job. He's a heck of a nice young man. I mean, a really, really, really nice young man. We got our work cut out for us. But I think that if he hangs in there, you know, when it comes around, we're going to be okay. We got have a lot of questions we have to answer, which I haven't been in there. It's football season.
Of course, yeah.
And I don't mix the two.
But you will eventually.
Yeah, when football's over.
Yeah.
When football season's over, then I'll walk in there. But right now, I haven't seen any of the kids. I've seen Coach one time. So I'm hoping, you know, that, everything works out for us.
John?
You were good in so many sports in high school and growing up, but I mean, you're a legend. You're in this with all the other legends in Beaver Falls. When you walk through here and see all the displays and everything, how proud does that make you to be from Beaver Falls?
You get the chills.
Yeah.
I'm actually shy. So a lot of people don't really understand, you know, they think that I'm cocky or American or I'm this or that. You don't know me. I'm actually shy. So if I get too emotional, I'll start crying. Yeah. So I'll put the microphone down.
Okay.
So I'm comfortable right now.
Right.
You know, but you get the chills when you come in here.
Well, let me ask you this.
Seeing, just like Coach, right? I mean, seeing all this, like Rick. Yeah. I mean, I love Rick like a brother. I love him. He's been nothing but good to me. He's helped me in so many ways. So I get the chills.
You're outstanding in so many sports growing up and in high school, and I mean, you still are a legend. You always will be in this county and Beaver County. Did you have a favorite sport of all of them? Was there one that you liked the best?
He's going to say baseball. He'll probably say baseball.
Yes, yes.
Really?
Baseball.
Baseball?
Man, I wish I'd have played baseball.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have played baseball. And I can't tell you the story why I didn't, but I wish I'd have played baseball. Even though I played in the summer. I played in Legion and Colts and all the way up. I wish I would have played on the high school team. I did play for 1 year.
Right.
Then I went to track.
Is there one memory from high school or college or the pros or anything that stands out more than anything else? Like if you're watching an NFL game or you're watching Pitt or you're watching something, is there anything that comes back to you that, man, I did that, or this is a special memory, or a touchdown, or a tackle you made, or a team you were on, or anything special above everything else, or just the whole experience is all?
The whole experience is awesome, and I played for people like you guys to talk about that. It's for you to do, not me. I don't have a special play. I know my job, and I did my job. That's how I played. That's how I learned from them. They taught me, if you watch Beaver Falls football, they taught you to play football in a group and as a team. And I learned to play like that. I just was given God-given ability. I had a little bit more God-given ability than the rest of them, but we played hard. And there was no play, or I don't care what level. You played team ball, and I played to win.
John, any last questions for Dwight?
Dwight, it's just good to see you again. It's been a while, and it's been fun to go down memory lane with you because enjoyed watching you play at Beaver Falls all those years. I went to Western Beaver. I was a year after you, and remember going to, we had Saturday games, so we would go to different games on Friday night and come to Reeves Field and watch you play and Jerry Moy, and it was always fun. I won't bring up the one Western Beaver Falls game. I won't bring it up.
I want you to bring that up because I remember that you guys wouldn't play us our junior year, or my junior year. You waited till my senior year. Because my junior year, we had Langston, the Chip Hedder twin. We had a line that was almost an NFL line. Yeah. Okay.
We weren't dumb. We might have been farmers, but we weren't dumb.
You got us on that one. You played us our junior year where the backfield was bigger than the line.
Know.
Yeah. But you had a great team. Gary Tamro.
Gary Tamro. And I still say to this day, and even though Western Beavers won 3 WPIL championships, it's the most important win in school history because with the tradition of Beaver Falls and the team you had, that legitimized Western Beaver football more than any championship. To come to Beaver Falls and win at Beaver Falls was really at that time a monumental win for that school.
No question. I just wish we'd have caught you the year before.
Maybe.
Then it would have been monumental for both of us.
So I'm listening to this, and I'm kind of thinking that maybe we can do a reenactment. We can get you on the line. We can get him trying to get you.
That's over.
That's
done.
Yes, it's over on my end too. We're not getting down in the 3-point stance.
If you want to go ride a bicycle,
I wouldn't want to either.
Go to the Y and get in the steam room, I'm your guy. But
that's about
other than that other stuff, no.
Well, Dwight, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to have a couple other special guests coming up. I want to also thank New Brighton Foodland for the beverages. We want to thank Zookie's for the wings, and we want to thank Giles Town and Country Market for the cheese plate that the kids and everybody here tonight got to enjoy. We are here from the Edward Sondheimer Communication Center at the Larry Bruno Foundation Circle of Achievement in Beaver Falls on WBVP and WNBA. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more special guests here on Beaver County Radio.
This football season, don't pass on McGee Heating and Air Conditioning. Honest sales and 7 days a week emergency service have made them tops in their game for over 60 years. That's how long families just like yours have been relying on McGee for all their heating and cooling needs. Get ready now for the cooler days ahead and call McGee today at 724-375-7112. Serving the Beaver Valley, including Aliquippa, Monaca, Hopewell, and Center Township. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning. Family owned and operated, Main Street, Aliquippa. Good luck to all the teams who visit the Gridiron this season from McGee Heating and Air Conditioning.
The local McDonald's restaurants are proud to be partners with Beaver County Radio in sponsoring Beaver County high school football games all season long. Stop in to any of the local McDonald's restaurants for everyday value items like 2 for $3 mix and match, sausage burritos, sausage McMuffin, and hash browns. Don't forget to download the app for extra special savings. Looking for a great part-time job? Text McHire.com today to apply. Good luck to all the Beaver County football teams this season from your local McDonald's restaurants. I'm loving it.
Does someone you know struggle to read? If so, there's tuition-free local help available. The Provident Charter School West at the former Quigley High School in Baden is helping students in grades 1st through 4th. Provident Charter School West teaches students with dyslexia so they can go back to their hometown schools and learn alongside their friends. Provident Charter School West is a tuition-free brick-and-mortar school for children in grades 1st through 4th who are below grade level in reading. For more information, go to providentcharterschool.org.
If you're a parent that's already watched plenty of youth baseball or soccer games, you know the value of teamwork. Whether it's the team on the field or your team of family members at home, strengthening that group can pay off in many ways. Keystone Wellness Programs is offering their free Strengthening Families program in Beaver County for families of children ages 10 to 14. Learn how to increase family bonding and communications, all while having fun together. Visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org for details.
If you have big plans for this fall, like a new car or home remodeling project, but feel like it's getting a little late in the game and you're out of timeouts, it's time to call an audible, a 749 audible. This is Coach Andy Dengel from Freedom United Federal Credit Union. 24-month personal loans are now available with approved credit from 7.49%. So get up to the line, the teller line that is, and call your own 749 audible. Stop in for details. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, we're back at the Coach's Corner here in Beaver Falls, the Larry Bruno Foundation, Circle of Achievement. And again, joined with John Parada. Again, we have two special guests, two board members of the Larry Bruno Foundation, Rick Mancini, the president judge of Beaver County, and his 20th year, and Linwood Alford, a board member. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
And Linwood, you want to grab that microphone? First, let's talk about when this became an idea, when this all started coming, because it's been a couple years, but I never knew how nice this place was. This place is tremendous. When I came in here, it just kind of hit me. It was like almost like it's a Hall of Fame of Beaver County.
Right. Well, I think I can speak to the origination of it. Many years ago, well, I shouldn't say many, approximately 11 or 12 years ago, Coach Bruno, who was, as Dwight mentioned, was the main person in many of our lives, was struggling health-wise, and we wanted to honor him in some way, not just emotionally, but we also wanted to be there for him financially if necessary. So we had a meeting, myself, Coach Flory, Ron Main, Kenny Woodishek, who's another famous Beaver Falls name, and a few other people. And at that time, we were actually talking about ways that perhaps we could raise some money just in case Coach needed our help. Mm-hmm. Well, we decided that to get the ball rolling, we wanted to have sort of a reunion of his most famous teams, which were the 1960 team with, of course, Joe Namath at quarterback, and the 1961 team that followed that. You know, many people don't realize this, but the 60 team went undefeated and was declared the WPL champ because back then they didn't have playoffs.
Right.
The 61 team also went undefeated, but was not invited to play in the WPL championship the next year because of the Gardner point system that determined two other undefeated teams superseded them.
That's unimaginable today.
Yes, exactly. So we decided to have a reunion of sorts with them, and we brought them back for an opening game up at Reeves, Beaver Falls, and Aliquippa, and then we followed that with a banquet. And our first inductees into what we call the Larry Bruno Circle of Achievement that year were Coach Bruno, Joe Namath, and James Bucky Muchler, who played for the Baltimore Colts in one of the what people call the best game ever played,
right.
The Giants and the Colts. And that was the beginning of it. And then, of course, immediately following that, Joe Namath, who has become a best friend of our foundation, found a way to divert some money from his Alabama foundation to our group, and that's what got the ball rolling. And then over the years, obviously, we've honored and inducted many more people. We purchased this building. We were in the library, the Carnegie Library, the second floor. That's where we were.
I thought it was going.
Yeah, that's where we were housed for many years, and they gave us a great deal. And then we purchased this building, and Stevie Higgins is the main guy. He's our main plant operator, and a lot of what you see here is a result of his efforts and the contributions of many others. And we just, every year, we meet. We just met again not too long ago to talk about who we want to induct in our next banquet, and it's been self-perpetuating.
Linwood, let me ask you, how important is it that this isn't just Joe Namath? It's not just the Waltons. It's Candy Young and Geneva and some famous baseball players. And it's a rich history of not only Beaver Falls, but also more things are going to start coming in from Beaver County, that you guys want this to be about Beaver County and not just Beaver Falls.
Well, it started off all Beaver Falls.
Right.
And we have done a great deal of growing. I mean, although maybe you didn't realize, what we got going on here, but it's huge. It's huge. And there is others that would love to be a part of this, and you can't blame them. You see the place. It's a wonderful thing, But now that's something that yet's got to be decided. But I'm hopeful that we will bring in, different parts of Beaver County. Aliquippa is a big deal in itself.
No doubt.
And when you got so many people from one little town in a Hall of Fame, now we're Beaver Falls. We're not particularly recognizing Aliquippa as a city, but I think it would be wise for us to recognize those ball players.
Yes.
That are in the Hall of Fame, because I think that's phenomenal for a town that's small to have 5 ball players in the Hall of Fame.
There's no doubt.
And I think that's something that nowhere in America could match as far as the size of a city. I just don't think nowhere else in America you would find that.
John?
Rick, yeah, you're a Beaver Falls guy through and through, born and raised here. When you go through these exhibits, and I know you had it at the library, but now you're able to do a little bit more with more space here. I mean, how do you feel when you see this, all the great achievements from so many different athletes, so many championship teams, high school level, Legion Ball, what have you? I guess it's got to be make somebody from Beaver Falls awfully proud to.
Well, and that's the word, John. I feel very proud when I walk through and I look at the different individuals that we have honored and think of the accomplishments they've made. And the nice thing about our foundation is, while athletics was the impetus behind it, that's not the sole criteria. We have inducted people who have gone on to achieve in areas other than athletics. The only criteria we have is that there has to be an affiliation with Beaver Falls. And if we did not keep it that way, I mean, we could expand well beyond, as we all know that. But I can tell you this, every year when we get together to consider who we want to induct in the next year, the list is very long. So probably I'll be gone from this earth before they'll run out of candidates from Beaver Falls. And that's what we center on. And of course, what Linwood said about Aliquippa and the prestige they brought into Beaver County. And of course, you don't even have to go that far. If you go across the river, we had a gentleman by the name of Tito Francona and his son Terry, who, in my opinion, has been the best manager in the major leagues for a couple years. So, I mean, we have such a rich history here in Beaver County, but there's no doubt that this is about Beaver Falls. And yes, I'm very proud when I walk through this building and see all those people that are honored. And I have to say this before you switch back to Linwood. That gentleman that you just interviewed, Dwight, he, in my opinion, is the best all-around athlete. Now, I know people will say Joe Willie, because of Joe's athletic ability, and Joe has become a good friend, and I certainly would never argue against that. But that young man was the best all-around athlete I've ever seen in every sport. And I knew he was going to say baseball when you asked him what his favorite sport was, because I remember seeing him play baseball. And I'll tell you this, I've said this many times, football. He dominated the basketball court more than anybody I saw during his high school years. And when I think back on my days as the coach, because I was the head coach here for 12 years, I think of a lot of things that I would do differently, a lot of things that perhaps I would see differently. But one of my best accomplishments was bringing him on to staff as an assistant coach, because not only did he automatically have the admiration and respect of the players, but he even earned it more, and he did a great job with that. So Dwight, is a great representative of the many others that we recognize here in this hall. And Lidwood came from a little different era. He won't admit it, but he's a little older than me.
Doesn't look like it.
I agree with that.
Got that right.
Yeah. So those stories can be told probably in every generation that's represented here in this Hall of Achievement, and I'm very proud to be part of it.
Linwood, you had a stint with the Jets in the NFL. And how neat was that? And I mean, even to this day, when people think of the Jets, they think of Joe Namath, first and foremost.
Yes.
How neat was it to play in the NFL for the same team that Joe Namath became such a legend for?
Well, I tell you what, this started way, way back, although I never played for the Jets.
I thought you did.
No.
Oh,
but this started.
His son did.
Your son did.
My son
That's
did.
right.
Yeah, my son played for the Jets. But me and Joe Namath started way, way back. I think I was 4 years old. My front door faced right across the street from his back door.
Wow.
And one day this little kid walks outside and he looks across the street. I'm sitting on the curb. He walks over. He says, "Hey, I'm Joe," because there was no other little kids in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden this little kid pops up, And I had just gotten back from West Virginia from being kidnapped. Yeah, I was kidnapped, so therefore,
you were kidnapped?
I was kidnapped. So therefore, I was across the street. So when I got back, I was sitting there, and Joe walks outside and says, "Hey, my name is Joe." I said, "My name is Linwood." And the amazing thing to all of that, we're just as close now as we were then. And I think that's a story in itself, because it didn't have to be. This man went on to be super famous, right? And he will get upset if I don't call him in a week or two. He'll say, "Man, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you call me?" And that's something that he doesn't necessarily have to do. Yeah. He could have forgotten me a long time ago. Yeah. But that's the way Beaver Falls is. This is what I really like about Beaver Falls. Yeah. Okay. I mean, people come together here. I'm a stern believer in once a tagger, always a tagger. Okay? Because we come together here and we stick. We stick. We're not downing one another. We're not talking about one another. Long after we've played sports, okay, we still maintain that togetherness, okay, that we all need. And this is something else that the Larry Bruno Foundation does, okay. It brings the community together. And it's not just athletes, as the judge was saying. It's not just athletes. It's people in general. And that's what we need today, because life itself is a team sport.
Good point.
Okay? And this is something that I like about us. I like about this foundation, okay? This Larry Bruno Circle of Events. We do things to bring people together. And there's nothing more important on the face of the earth than people.
Good point. Very good point.
Absolutely.
Guys, gentlemen, let's talk about as this grows. The thing that I was told is very important, that Steve told me, is that they want families and people to come in here, and they're not going to charge admission. They want this to be accessible to everybody, no matter what income level, and they want this to become a destination so kids of all ages and families can see the history. But it does take money to pay the bills, to pay the lights, to take care of keeping this place open. it's not open yet, but anybody listening to the program, if they want to make a donation, if they want to help out, Linwood, let's ask you first. How does anybody go about that?
Well, just get in touch with us. Get in touch with Steve, and by all means, come by and see what you're donating to.
Mm-hmm.
See, once you come and see what you're donating to, it'll be a lot easier to make that donation because this is something fabulous here. I mean, this is one of the showpieces of Beaver County, not just Beaver Falls.
I mean, if people don't realize, there are uniforms here, there are scorecards from games, helmets, more than just one or two uniforms from numerous athletes. When I came in here, I was honestly surprised at how nice it really was. I didn't know how nice it was, and it hit me like, man, it was like I was in a baseball Hall of Fame or something.
Amazing.
And
It really is.
The displays. It's something that you could take a couple of hours easy walking through here, and this is small compared to other places, but just the rich history of uniforms and so many different artifacts that you've been donated to by other organizations and players. I walked in, I see a picture of Josh Gibson, who has a connection to Beaver County, played at Beaver Falls Field.
Yes.
And the quickest way to become familiar with our foundation and our facility, and as you were talking, the other aspects of it, is go to the website.
Okay, and that is?
Yeah, Larry Bruno Foundation.
Okay.
If you just Google Larry Bruno Foundation, it'll pull up and probably answer a lot of the questions that you were posing.
When do you anticipate that this will be open, and will it be weekends? Will it be afternoons, evenings? What are the plans for this?
You're going to have to check with Steve on that. Because
I think he said 3 nights a week. Yeah,
Okay.
3 days a week.
But we're talking about early next year, maybe?
Or easy by early next year.
Okay. Have a big gala, maybe we'll get Beaver County Radio involved.
Oh, yeah, well, definitely. And I'm hoping that we can get Joe Namath here.
I was going to say, you got to get him here. You have the connection. So I know he doesn't come into town much, but when he does, this is important to him.
Oh, yeah. And this is important to Joe, brother. He's just getting older, and
we all
flying, is not his thing anymore, But now, for certain things, I think he'll make an exception. And I think coming back to this grand opening, once we do it, I think he'll do it.
John?
Rick, Larry Bruno, we talked with Carl Flory about this earlier in the hour. He had so much influence on so many people that played for him, coached under him, went on to be successful in high school football in particular, but all walks of life. Can you talk to what influence he had on you as a young guy in high school?
Well, he had a tremendous influence on me, not just during the years I played for him, but as I was growing up, just the atmosphere that was created in large part by him, just the aura of Beaver Falls football. And I know Dwight had mentioned that. I mean, it was no different for me. I remember as a young fella going up to Reese Stadium and thrilled to death to get a chin strap off of one of the high school players when the game was over. I still remember my cousin lived right down on 26th Street, so I spent a lot of time there. And even if we weren't at the game, seeing the fireworks go off every time they scored. Well, let me put it to you this way, John. I knew when I was just a little guy that I had to play football at Beaver Falls High School. Yeah. I knew that. So then when I did, and to be able to experience Coach Bruno face-to-face, oh my goodness, I can't tell you the impact it had on me. And I've said this many times. First he was my coach, and I feared him. Then whenever I became the coach here, he was my mentor, and he used to come and see me twice a week. I had a law office at the time when I was the head coach. He'd come in and we'd talk about the games. Then he eventually became my client. But that was for things, not dastardly things. He needed a will or whatever. But more than that, he became my best friend, and I'll cherish that forever. He was the Vince Lombardi of high school football, as far as I'm concerned. He was and his impact reached well beyond the playing field. And his number one thing was trying to benefit those that played for him and help them to go on. He took more pride in helping kids get into college than he did winning ball games, and of course he won his share. And that's something I'll never forget. And I know when I became the coach, that was always my goal. I mean, players come, players go. Things happen every now and then. Something happens, like Western Beaver beating Beaver Falls. It happens. But the most important thing is, where do you go from here? What do you instill in these young men? And not just young men, because the program always was not just the players, it was the whole school, the cheerleaders, the band, everybody involved. And I think it was so important to set a framework for all these young kids, because it's a tough world out there. We all know that. And whenever you have somebody like Coach Bruno, who's sort of at the top of the ladder, my goodness, I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world.
And what a lot of people might not remember is Larry Bruno. I was in Geneva when he was our offensive coordinator, spent a lot of time in his office talking, and he always had magic tricks. Every time I was ever there, he always had a magic trick for me.
Yeah. But you know what, what I was impressed with, and me and Larry Bruno was very close. I didn't play, I tore my knee out, but me, him, and Joe would talk a lot. Me and Joe would drive down to Monaca even before he even moved up here. We would work out, Wow. And what I really loved about him, if you played for Larry Bruno, number one, what you were going to do, you were going to go to somebody's church. He made sure that if you were Catholic, you go to a Catholic church, whatever denomination you were going to go to church before you went out and played ball. And I think that was one of the most impressive things a coach could have ever did. Okay? In other words, first of all, we're going to recognize God, and then we're going to go play football.
Good way to be.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I wish we had a lot more time to talk, but we're wrapping up here. It has been an honor talking to both of you, and we have so many people to thank. For those listening, of course, this was a special Coach's Corner live from the Edward Sondheimer Communications Center at the Larry Bruno Foundation Circle of Achievement in Beaver Falls. We want to thank Nick Nardone and the players that he brought, and I have them mentioned here somewhere. I'll find it amongst my notes. Bear with me. Young men, we mentioned them: Damian Lee, Denari Harris, Damiano Sims, and Brix Raw. I want to thank them. Also want to thank Mr. Carl Flory, Coach Flory, for joining us. Thank Dwight Collins for joining us. We also want to thank Bruce Fry and Robert Mangino for joining us. Thank Curtis Walsh behind the scenes. Ryan Garazunas back in the studio. Thank John Parada. And thank all of you for listening. Also to all of our sponsors. And tonight, thank you to Foodland of New Brighton for providing beverages, Zookie's Tavern for providing the wings, and Cheese Plate by Jousttown and Country Market. I want to thank everybody. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. It's been another edition of the Coach's Corner here on Beaver County Radio. Next week, we'll have Western Beaver. It'll be a Golden Beavers night. And as we say at the end of everything, tonight, since it was Beaver Falls, go Tigers.
Listening to live sports on the radio in Beaver County is a tradition. This is Craig Fontana from Moon Township Ford, and I ought to know. My dad, Bill Fontana, has called games for over 50 years. Beaver County people know a good call when they hear one, and the best call you can make is to buy your next new or used vehicle at Moon Township Ford. Click moontownshipford.net or visit Moon Township Ford on University Boulevard.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.